Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Salem State University for our fall 2020 semester here at the Criminal Justice Department. My name is John Tiplady. I'll be introducing myself in a minute, but first of all, I want to welcome you here back to Salem State. I thank you for coming back. I know it's been very hard for you, for your family, for your friends. This has been a very difficult time, and we're going to make every effort to make this a very successful semester for you. I want to let you know that I'll be available at any time, any place for you. I'll set up different levels of communication. We're going to be using Canvas mostly. And I also want to emphasize the fact that you do not have to buy a textbook for this class. I've been able to put together the curriculum using materials from the U.S. Department of Justice, from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety, from the Mass Police Training Academy, from the Commission on Law Enforcement Accreditation. All these things will be on Canvas. All our readings will be through Canvas, through the modules, and we'll work through it that way there. But first and foremost, I want to welcome everybody. We have the symbols of our criminal justice system with our courts, with our police, with our emergency 911 that involves also our 911 call takers, and over to the right there, we see our friend McGruff, the crime dog. We're going to talk about how we can integrate community policing with partnerships and problem solving, and how that works throughout our system in making things safe, and also the prevention of crime. The prevention of crime is the number one thing when we look at our system. Is that go back to Sir Robert Peel, his main goal in the Peelian principles was the fact that the true measure of a law enforcement organization or a criminal justice system is the absence of crime and not just responding to the crime, and looking with those things there. My name is John Tiplady, as I've said. I'm a retired lieutenant of 33 years at the Danvers Police Department. My contact information is down there, and it'll also be posted on Canvas and on the syllabus. Again, I'm going to be available for you. My phone number there, that 978-265-4127, is you can call me on that number. You can text me on that number. We can do FaceTime on that number if you have questions. We'll be able to work with those things. I've been here at Salem State for around 15 years, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And even now that we're going to work the way that we're working, we're still going to get this job done here. As a police officer, you look at things and you look at history a lot. The Danvers Police Department, you can see our patch there, and that has a Minuteman back in 1776, the Revolutionary War. The town of Danvers mustered the citizens to help out in the Battle of Lexington and Concord. They mustered their troops up on the training fields of Danvers and marched there. They suffered a number of casualties, but came back and continued to watch out for the town. And that's a really positive thing. Another thing that happened in Danvers in 1692 that a lot of people don't realize is that the original witch trials were held in Danvers, even though Salem was the place where the witches were hanged or burned or crushed and all that. But the actual trials took place right here in the town of Danvers, not far from my home here in Danvers. And that was one of the things that when we're talking about our classes that we're going to be doing this semester, is the fact that we had innocent people that were accused of crimes. They had no rights. They had no lawyers. They had no people to defend them. They had no way to question their accusers. They had no way to appeal their sentences. They had no systems in place to look out for them. And unfortunately, people were convicted and sentenced to death. And those are one of the things that we don't want to do. And as a result of that, there's a stigma that goes with that. But a lot of times those things happen with the witches and witch trials. We can see the Salem police have adopted the witch as part of their patch. One of the interesting things is that patch is copyrighted, so the people can't use it for other types of profit, but it's a symbol of that. But it's still the partnership. Again, partnership is that Danvers and Salem were back in those times where the witch trials happened. In Danvers, we have a memorial to the 19 witches that were killed, and some sort of memorabilia for that, so that people can understand that these things should not happen today. Unfortunately, in some cases, and when we look around the country and we look around at some of the justice systems and we look around at some of the people that have been innocent and still convicted of a crime, is that we still have a ways to go. And we'll be talking about that when we look at the Innocence Project as part of our curriculum as we go along there. As a police officer, everybody starts out as patrol officer. No matter what you aspire to be in the police department, whether you want to get rank, whether you want to be a person that's going to be a detective or any type of specialty, everybody starts out as patrol officer. And I started out as patrol officer when I was a junior at Salem State College, and dealing with those things and moving up and going along. There's other opportunities. I then became a crime prevention officer. I studied and became a safety officer, where we started really communicating with the public and also the schools and everybody on safety and crime prevention, all those types of things, merging those types of things into there. Another integral part of policing is being able to be a first responder. I took a lot of interest in that. Also became an emergency medical technician and a first aid and CPR instructor, doing those there. Another aspect of policing is that you're always looking for money. And I was a grant writer, and being a grant writer, I was able to get enough grants for the improvement of our department at the tune of $1.47 million. I also became a crime scene photo identification person, an elder protection officer, looking out for the safety of our elder population, working with the senior citizens, and also particularly nowadays, our elder protection officers are really working with our seniors because of the number of scams that are happening with our seniors. And we'll look into that in our classes regarding looking out for the elderly. Another part of policing right now is crime analysis and crime mapping. Those of you that are interested in that, that's a great career that's coming on the cutting edge right now. CALEA is the Commission of Law Enforcement for accreditation. And what that does is gets policies and procedures for police departments so that they go by the standards that are set for the whole country. I was also a passenger safety instructor on the Traffic Advisory Committee, Downtown Improvement Committee. That's another thing with partnerships and problem solving, with working with the Employee Safety Committee, all those types of things there. You can see that it's not just getting in a cruiser and driving around. There's so many opportunities for you if you decide to get into public safety as a police officer or as an adjunct member of support staff for a police department. That's me as a rookie officer, 21 years old, going to Salem State and becoming a police officer. That was quite a thing. I became a sergeant and then became a patrol supervisor. And in doing that, you take responsibility for the officers that are on your shift. One of the things that happens is that when something bad happens, you have to take immediate control and command of everything. One incident that I had here, you can see me with my shotgun. We had a domestic violence homicide. We thought the suspect was still inside the house, and we had to breach the house and go in. But the first person through the house is your superior officer in doing those things. You never ask a subordinate to do something that you wouldn't do yourself. I then made lieutenant, and being lieutenant, become more administrative. And part of the administrative part was writing policy and procedure. And we'll be using a lot of those policies and procedures for our classes as we go along. And these are the standards that go hand in hand with having a professional police department and those types of things there. After I retired, I became a part-time harbor master and doing those types of things. I also did those patrols. Those of you that are in the military, are doing things with fire and police and EMT. I want to applaud you for that. I also want to be able to know that you're doing things like that as we go along the class. If you have any questions, please ask them at any time. There's no such thing as a dumb question in policing. And the other thing that we'll be concentrating on is that there's no right way to do the wrong thing in policing. And we'll talk about the ethical ramifications of that as we go along. As again, I want to welcome here Always remember that when we're doing these things, we are willing to give our best before we expect it of others.